This is a Redland Bay job. We're just walking in. I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to hear or not hear. The wind's howling is about 40 knots, but we're just walking in through the garden area. There's a shed shown on the plans. Just stand here a minute. Over in there somewhere's the water tank we just checked out. There's the fence of the northern property there. So we'll just walk down in around here. The houses are on the right, the older houses. Right, there's it's flaring a bit with the sun. I'll try and avoid that. There's that. If you go straight ahead over there, that takes you into the backyard of the easternmost property. This is the approximate area where the in-ground tank's going. And you'll hear the rigs coming in behind me at the moment. We'll watch him go down the hill. And the northernmost drainage area is going to go through there down the slope. This area down there is out of the way. We'll just pan around here. The rig's just going past. We'll let him go down through. Then we'll walk down this other ramp. We're just going to go down and start drilling at the bottom and work our way up. So I'll just keep this running here. Where all this vegetation's over the edge here. It's actually, hang on, the rig's just stopped. He's a bit worried about overhead clearance and scratching it. This is a mini landslip in here. This is a bit disguised, but it's definitely there. This is a dry stacked block retaining wall, which gets higher as we go down the slope. It's reasonably old, but in pretty good condition the way they make these. Hang on, a bit more trimming needed here to get the rig down without scratching it. They just, Chris will just take care of that. If we wander down here, we can look over the edge. In actual fact, we can look back and see the mini slip. All this stuff has died off since I was last here. I couldn't see a real lot of this. There's a level area over there, and there you can, I'll just move further down the slope here, past the rig. Okay, if you look up there, you can see where that vegetation debris is just cuts in about 1.5 meters or whatever into the slope. We turn around, the white red tops down there, that's in the council land where the cycle track's coming through. We just come back down here. Here's another mini slip in this batter. Just shows the batter is too steep. Again, this one cuts in about 1 meter and 1.5 meters. There's just boulders here which are covered. They just appear to be stacked up as a retaining wall, but they do not appear to be doing their job. And we can just see over here, you might be able to see some boulders popping out there. That was partially retained here. Maybe this started to slide a few years ago, but the boulders stopped where this slides, so this whole embankment of this ramp is just too steep, and they need some attention because they'll just keep on slipping. You can sort of see the boulders on the high side. They're jumbled sort of fashion with they're just being crudely stacked up. They've done their job though. But then we look over here. This is about where the ramp's going to turn around. We've got a timber sleeper wall down the bottom here. This is terraced, which is average and leaning a bit, but the one above it, the second wall, is clearly failed and failing. So something's going to have to be done up in there too, but I'm not sure whether that's part of our project. And these trees here, basically these pine trees, when we get down the bottom in 1 minute, you'll see that they're precarious, they're being undermined. There's another bit of the timber wall which is leaning out. These timber walls with the 200 species, what look like 75 uprights, they're facing the wrong way. They got the people who built them didn't understand. These need to be at about 1200 spacing, orientated 90 degrees to the wall, and embedded at least the same depth into the ground as they are out, and I doubt very much whether they are any more than 600 into the ground. And then there's just some rock debris up there, which I assume's been placed there to try and control another feature, but that's beyond our commission. We're now down onto the level area, which we'll drill to see what's actually under this, because over there about 30 metres there's nothing sure, a bit of sand over some marine mud, but hopefully here we're still in the red soils. Here's these pine tree bases. That one's covered, but this one's exposed. Fortunately it hasn't got much of a canopy anymore, but with it there and the westerly winds and the heavy rain, one would expect there's a high risk that that tree will just come straight off the embankment. So, you know, it'll serve a better purpose, particularly as it's going to fall towards the cycle track if it wasn't there at all. But there's the two trees. There's some of the boulders which have been put in place. It's only a limited area to retain that batter as we walk along. And I know Chris is still doing some pruning up there to get the rig through. There's the second slip I showed you on that ramp. This is the toe of it down here. And as we go up into here, beyond these trees. So all this could be served a lot better. A lot of the old trees, get the trees and weeds, that tree's almost dead under those exotics which are grown up over it. Would be to clear it all out and just do a fair amount of replanting. There is the debris pile, the vegetation debris pile disguising that slip. As you can see that the earth under there has come out, has flowed out a bit. We'll just walk around through this gap. And let's see what we can spot here. This is where the we're walking now to, we're just going past the what's labelled on the plan as the third outlet. The second outlet is up here somewhere in here it'll be, in this level area. And you can see back up there, if I just come back a bit, the light coloured brick house on the northern house, what I'm calling the northern house, is just there. But I think that'll give anyone that hasn't been out here a reasonable view or overview of what's actually happening on this site. As we pan around, there's the end. That over in those trees is a lake or a swamp, and it's surrounded by a council concrete track, and that track will be extended down through here in the fullness of time. But I think that's all we need from Redland Bay. Thank you.